I just want to make a video about public speaking. Yesterday, which was now my memory. Today is election day, so that's 17th May 2019. I had a group presentation that needed to be done. It was 4 of us, and I had 2 sections to speak. So the intro part, which is about 2 minutes, and my part, which is 3 minutes. And I have to say it was one of the best presentations I have ever done in terms of confidence. I don't know what mark I'm going to get, but if I'm solely looking on how I felt, how I presented myself, the self-confidence I had, I would rate it to be either 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, because leading up to the speech, I wasn't anxious like I used to be. And what I noticed was the difference, actually. The little thoughts that come into your mind of that, I'm gonna stuff things up. I did notice that, and as soon as it came, I just shut it off. I acknowledged it, and I said to myself, unconsciously, subconsciously, when I noticed it, it's not gonna take over me. But what happens is, these little thoughts, it builds on throughout the day, saying to yourself, in that speech moment, you're going to fail, you're going to be nervous. That's what your mind is telling you. And if your mind is telling you that, then you're already at a loss. So that night, the night before, I had a dream that I left my palm cards at home, and obviously it meant that the speech was at the back of my mind. And it's a big thing to do a speech in front of people, but yeah, obviously that was a dream, but when it came throughout the day, I was very, very conscious of what my mind was saying to myself, because I wanted to use this as an experiment, as an experience, to help me in the future to communicate confidently. And I think I executed that so well that day. You know what? I honestly don't care if it comes out to be bragging or like showing off, because at the end of the day, who are you showing off to? Like, show off what you have. If you're not showing off what you have, like, whatever, like, you're proud of what you've done, you can say it. And if people are not receiving it, so be it. They can just go. But you do what you do, you do what you can. If you're happy with what you give, and if it gives you happiness, then you know what, just do it. Anyway, so throughout the whole presentation, I was walking around using my hands, speaking confidently, and there was a slight moment where my hands were shaking a little bit, but I noticed it as I was speaking. And then what happened in that moment was a sense of realization and a real sense of presence. I turned that moment where my hands were shaking and really felt present in the moment. So as I was holding the palm cards, my hands were shaking. And I looked at my hands, I acknowledged it, but then my focus became on the cards that I was holding. I was gently holding it now, feeling the cards, feeling present. And I noticed that I wasn't shaking anymore, because I was in the moment, acknowledging the surroundings, rather than thinking about what other people are thinking of me, which in turn makes me nervous. And that presentation was a perfect example of what I can do for public speaking. I want to speak, but it was all a matter of whether I can execute it. Now, my speech, one of the first speeches I've given presentations at uni, I think it was in my first year in psychology, which I dropped or whatever. Anyways, I didn't know the topic very well, got a lot of things to do with statistics, didn't do my research. So number one, if you don't know what you're talking about, you're going to get nervous. And in this speech, 85% I knew what I was talking about. So I ticked that off in comparison to last time. But last time, my mindset wasn't there. I was speaking to myself in negative ways, but almost subconsciously. It's only in hindsight I realize it, because the subconscious thought is so manipulative. It tries to get at you and you don't even realize it. But the power of awareness and realizing the thoughts, catching the thoughts and holding them accountable really sets you apart. These negative things that you're saying to yourself is a self-manifestation, and it will happen. You just don't realize you're doing it to yourself. Like, stop doing this to yourself. So in that presentation, not only were my hands shaking the first year, my legs were shaking too. Can you imagine that? I couldn't stop it. It's just such a involuntary movement. But I have to say it was like a really, really bad experience. And then my subsequent speech after that went really well as well. I knew my stuff, let's say about 75% of what I was talking. So I knew fairly well what was coming, but it was more of a debate. So there would be elements that I was put on the spot to rebut. So obviously with that you need some depth of knowledge just to attack the person's arguments, and slightly I didn't know what they were talking about, so I guess that made me nervous. But that was like just 20 seconds, maybe 15-20 seconds of nerves throughout like a 3-minute speech, I guess. I think it was 3 minutes. But on the whole I was happy. But this speech, the one that I did yesterday, was really good. I'm really proud of myself and like our team as well. And like just the thoughts, I have to bring it down to the thoughts. The whole day I was just trying to feel present, trying to keep my mind and its thoughts accountable. And you know what? It paid off. And now the subsequent speeches I'll draw on that experience. And that's what we do. We familiarize ourselves with the experiences that we have had. And the experiences that we have had are the things that our mind repeats. So the next time I do a speech, my mind will sort of think differently about speeches in general. And in not the speech yesterday, but the debate speech, what I did was in the middle of my palm cards, I had wrote a quote inside, just so like you're reading and then there'll be a palm card unrelated to the topic where like I just pause and read to myself, and just gives that positivity, and I flick and continue with my speech. And this time what I did that same similar thing, which at the end of my speech I had written "well done." You know, good on you for trying. Actually, I have the actual the speech from yesterday. So, like I said, that was my first intro speech, and it went like, what do you do when you have a problem? You try to fix it. So that was speech 1. And then speech 2. So it was like a 20-minute presentation. This was my final palm card at the end. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, well done. You tried, and that's what matters. With a smiley face. And yeah, I really enjoyed that experience, and I look forward to other similar or non-similar experiences. And you know, every time I'm not gonna let my mind fool me, put me in a trap, create this anxiety in the tummy, questioning myself, feeling nervous. No way, how dare you? You say that to yourself. When you catch your thoughts, you say, how dare you make me feel this way? Because you don't deserve to feel anxious. No one does. Stop thinking that you are judged. When you think you are being judged, you're judging yourself. Anything that you think other people are doing to you, stop. You're doing it to yourself. You think they're jealous of you? It's your mind telling you that they're jealous of you. Who cares? There might be. There might not be. I might do a talk on that. It's totally different to speeches, but I guess it relates with subconscious thoughts. But I just wanted to say, you can be crap at speeches, but I hope my tips help. Put a quote in there. Notice your thoughts. Be present in the moment. Really be present in the moment. If you're doing a group presentation, advice I'd give is, when your fellow members are speaking, listen to their speech. Don't worry about what you're going to say next. You know what you've prepared. Just listen to their speech, and when your time comes, that's it. Who cares? Who cares? Do your best, that's it. I hope it helps.